Hi you guys, welcome back to the channel. So listen to what you said. Some of you really like the longer length videos and all the sort of the information packed in, and you like to watch it for a long time. Some of you said, Dave, 5 minutes of your waffle's enough, short and sweet. So the last video, I hope you watched it, was about APLOMADO falcons. It was a sort of a full length video. Great input from Jose in there as well. So watch that one if you haven't already, about APLOMADOs and flying those. This one, I'm going to try and make it more concise. I was asked recently, could you do a video about the difference between a Harris's hawk to some, Harris's hawk, that's how I say it, Harris hawk or a red-tailed hawk. So I'm going to try and keep it concise, and I'm going to tell you some differences as you go along. We're going to look at birds that are captive bred, that you've taken up from the breeding aviary at maybe, I don't know, 12 to 20 weeks old, depending on you and the breeder. We're not talking about second-hand birds. We're not talking about you American guys that are lucky enough to be able to, under license, work with wild trap birds that you release. Here in the UK, it is what it is, and that is captive bred birds. So, Harris's hawk, you're going to take it up. Either bird is going to be terrified of you to start with and very nervous. Either bird at this point, the first taken up on the glove, they both hood easily. That's when to start hooding your bird, the first day you pick it up on the glove. So as we start manning, they'll both hood easily. What you'll find with Harris's hawks generally, they'll become more hood shy, especially if you think you've cracked it, and then you don't bother hooding that hawk for a few weeks. It'll be like hooding a snake. And even then, they seem a little bit more, as they chill out and get relaxed with you, a bit more keen on what's going around them, and almost like they're going to miss out when the hood goes on. So that part of manning, I would say red tails hood easier than Harris hawks if you're gonna draw a line. But hood them both. General manning, they're actually different, but they're both really calm. Most red tails are actually, as a parrot reared bird go, they're pretty calm things. They're not bad at all, and Harris's hawks being that bit more social, equally so. So either bird, I would say, no problem in manning that bird to that, ready to start that basic training, whether that involves you feeding it on the glove, however you go about your training or wish to carry on forward. The manning stage for Harris hawks and red tails, they're both pretty chilled out as birds go. Early training, jumping to the glove, early clearance work, not a lot in it. Your Harris hawk will probably move ahead quicker, but those short distances, just from a T-perch or whatever you're using to fly from, don't use a fence rail. Your birds will want to get to fence rails all the time, and it'll become an annoying habit. They'll think, if I fly to the fence, I come back for free food. That'll really annoy you when you're out hunting. So take a perch out with you, something you can't run around on or see naturally. But that early bit, those short jumps and that basic hopping and jumping the length of the leash length, there won't be a lot in it. The difference will come to motivate your red tail. So Harris hawk, once it's jumping a foot to the glove, you'll be able to progress from there quite quickly to understanding the bird's weight management, flying it up to trees, calling it out of trees, cracking on hunting. It's not going to be very standoffish, really. This is where your red tail will change. If it goes up a tree at this stage, it'll probably stay there till the next day. It will be less motivated to fly the length of a clearance, sort of 20 or 30 yards. That's all you need. And that'll progress through the red tails flying. To motivate a red tail, it's not just about, I'll keep reducing its weight until it does stuff. Littlest rewards multiple times as fitness, but the early stages, both birds, all the birds I train, I just do 3 or 4 call-offs to the glove, and they'll have a good chunk of reward at this point that they can see. So they think, I'm a bit nervous, but I'll get a good chunk of food, and that's it, 3 or 4 times, and then move on from there. And then, as we want fitness to build, we want multiple call-offs and other work where we'll reduce the food right down. But the red tail will be more sluggish. Buzzards and eagles, red tails might be called a hawk in America, it's a buzzard, it's a buteo. Their metabolism can be shut right down. And if you go down the road of thinking, I won't feed that bird today, haha, it'll be hungrier tomorrow, its metabolism will almost slow down, and you'll often lose the motivation. A little bit of food going through its system is far better than none at all. So this is where your Harris hawk will start going ahead, likely, on the training side of things. Just a call into the glove and the following on, or just multiple call-offs to get fit. You've got to do it, motivate the redtail, smaller jumps, but just get it moving. Get it moving. As long as it's moving, you can gradually increase the distance. So the difference there, I think, is you might find yourself slowing down a bit with a redtail there. When we're then flying free, your weight management on the redtail will need to be better. You'll need to understand it is on weight, because when they go into a tree, redtails can easily take stand, especially at this early stage of training. Whereas the Harris hawk, very often, if it's sluggish, because it's not quite at the right weight, or it's still a bit nervous at this time in its training, you can just walk on away down that tree line, and it will often just follow you out of habit and routine and that social thing of, oh, there's my food going away. The redtail may well not do that. It may well just stand there, sit on one leg, start preening, and pretend that you don't even exist. So do that repetition and build it up, but give it little bits of food, but keep it moving and keep it active. It's a different mindset. That's, I think, your biggest difference with a redtail hawk, is you've got to motivate it and you've got to get it moving. The Harris hawk will almost naturally want to be with you at this stage, almost naturally. That's where the things will change. Entering, do you know what? It's not a species thing. You'll get one Harris hawk and one redtail. Someone will drag a rabbit. Don't bother with lures. Get a dead rabbit, or dead carcass, whatever you're flying at. Drag it out from a nettle patch. Get someone to run out. You'll get Harris hawks and redtails. Never seen a rabbit before in their lives, and they'll just instantly go for it and grab it. You'll get other ones that will just watch it go away. You can twitch it out slower with jerky movements. They'll watch it go away. They'll seem like they're anti-hunting. With either of those birds, open up the rabbit a little bit so you can see the meat. Even if you just let it step off your glove onto the rabbit. Encourage it with your bare hand and your fingers. Let it get feeding. Let it feed off that rabbit. And then its weight's going to go up, because you're going to give it a good meal off that rabbit. You're going to encourage it to think, this is worth chasing. So then you might be just feeling it a little better the next day, get its weight down again and start twitching that rabbit out. And at this point, if it doesn't chase the rabbit, I would then walk it home, no more food, try again tomorrow. As long as it understands what the rabbit carcass is and it knows it's good food and you've let it have a fair feed on that rabbit, it will click in. But excuse me, that's not a redtail or a Harris hawk thing. It's just the bird that you're training at the time. Some highly driven, I've had Harris hawks, never seen them, other ones, oh my goodness, the cajoling to get them to actually first grab a rabbit carcass. No different to redtail. Out hunting, you've got two different birds here. You've got a well-motivated Harris hawk, which will smash into cover, but redtails are legendary for flying into things just to get it going. They will smash through any cover. They are the bulldozers of our falconry, really. They have more metal in that respect. If you're flying hares, big game for a female Harris hawk, female redtail, you know, maybe a redtail's a bit more strong and designed to deal with it. But I think either one, they're both relatively small birds to take on an 8-pound animal. But again, the Harris hawk, when it's flying well to you, you might find it'll chase and follow rabbits or game. And you think, God, it catches up so quick, and it just can't ever quite catch them before they make cover. That Harris hawk, at this point in its training, is likely to be a little high in weight, and you might have to just lower it again. But you won't want to, because it comes 100 million miles when I lift up the glove. It's instant. 50 yards, 100 yards, instant to me. Because the Harris hawk has got that social side of it. It'll fly, relax to food for you, when it won't want to take on a big prey animal. Redtail, once you've got the motivation, once you're chasing the carcass, I think you'll find it'll either sit in a tree and take stand, because it's still not quite there yet, or it'll be after that. It'll be after that prey, sort of almost a little bit more. Either it will or it won't. The Harris hawk will put on a good show of, I really look like I'm trying, but I don't really want to commit and get a good kicking off that rabbit. It's a little bit different there. If you had to say, Dave, which would you want to keep you in meat, to live off the land? I would say a Harris hawk. It's probably going to be a bit quicker in some respects. It's probably going to take more game. That's not doing the redtail down. They're just different birds in what they do. The Harris hawk is a little bit more hawk-like. The redtail is a little bit more the buzzard it is, and a bit more eagle-like, a bit more golden eagle-like. They're just a little bit different. I'd say a harrishook is more nimble. It's designed to be. It's got a longer tail. It's going to be a more agile bird in the air than a redtail is. If you want to hunt specialist quarry like grey squirrels in the UK, either bird could easily have its career ended by grey squirrels, whether you use squirrel traps or you don't use them. But if I was going to fly squirrels, and that was going to be with my absolute, that's my game, that's what I've got, it would be a redtail every time. They've got thicker, sturdier feet. They can take a bite better than, and their gnarly, sturdy feet seem to survive the bites better. Harrishook has got relatively thinner legs and thinner toes compared to those stout feet of a redtail. So if you're going specialist and squirrels are your thing, I would say don't hunt squirrels. But if that's something you're going to do, I'd go for the redtail. A fit, motivated redtail is going to just because it's going to take the damage if it gets any more. So horses for courses, I think the biggest difference is redtails need more motivation. They need more, crikey, it's already 11 minutes long, I do apologise. Your redtail needs more motivation to actually do anything. It needs more understanding. Your harrishook is going to be easier. If you want easier and you want a lifelong bird, easier, the harrishook is easier. That's why it's where it is now. It is easier. It doesn't need as much motivation. It is going to put on a good show, and it kind of wants to be with you more, and that's the key difference. The harrishook kind of, if it's trained well, it wants to be with you more. The redtail is kind of, you're definitely the sucker that helps me get my tea, but I'm quite happy to stand in a tree and pretend you don't exist until I'm really hungry tomorrow. So I think that's the key thing. It is horses for courses. What do you want? A redtail is harder to train. You'll get more as training your falconry bird. You'll have more of an achievement to train a redtail well. Harrishook is easier. If you want a bird that's more bonded with you, maybe more bonded, kind of wants to follow you around the countryside more, a harrishook's for you. If you're hunting a mixed bag of game, a harrishook's probably for you. Redtails are a bit more specialist. They can do amazing things. They can steep at game on a hillside and they will plough into cover. Got to sum up somehow. Harrishook's easier. Harrishook wants to follow you on and be with you more. Redtail is the sledgehammer of our falconry world, and a well-motivated, well-flown redtail is a fantastic bird. If you want to fly a redtail, this is my last word. If you want to fly a redtail, for goodness sakes, train and fly a redtail. If you want to fly a harrishook, fly a harrishook. If you want to fly a goshawk, train and fly a goshawk. Don't look at either one as a stepping stone. Get the bird you want to fly. Do your research, do your training, learn about falconry. They both hood well, they both need telemetry. Goodbye, see you soon.